Rest in peace, Monk. That's the man in the beginning of this video, y'all.
People are not asking the right questions.
That's the elder.
Asking the right questions because they kind of think they already know the answers. Technology is...
Rest in peace to Monk, y'all. That's the OG.
Beginning in 1954, gravity control was mastered.
Anthem on the track.
That's Monk right there. Sitting down. Hold on, let's rewind the tape. Elder made transition as well. He's a legend in Harlem.
Anthem on the track.
Damn. Yes, quick camera.
From the city where the bums rich, skyscrapers block the rays when the sun hits. One time coming, niggas run quick. By the time a baby walk, he got a gun grip. I was made for this. 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 I'm not a product of the cages that they raised us in. Bred to be a king, I'm not a slave to this. I was made for 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 this. I'm not a product of the cages that they raise us in. Bred to be a king, I'm not a slave to this.
They don't know fact from fiction. They don't know the blacks is missing. They don't know they trapped in prison. They don't know the path to prison was a math decision. They don't know the wrath is quickened. They don't know the ass they kissing on the path of mission to put their ass in prison. They don't know black religion, fact and fiction. They don't know mama didn't leave them niggas half the kitchen with half a chicken. Fact or fiction. We still hot, we still noble. Red and blue pill global. No matter the language, we still moguls. We lost Gil Scott, then we lost Gil Noble. Exercise the right to live like it is. The revolution will not be televised, it's being digitized. On the come up, it's like watching the midget rise. Sleeping giants grow another 20 feet tall with each alliance. I can teach the science, I tear an instrumental down before I lay my pencil down. I'm going down to Tinseltown to burn the temples down and cap it up like this a crown. And my rights still reserved. Fear of a black Illuminati. I might just kill with the Bilderberg to come and kill you nerds. I'm shining like a Grammy host on the shores of Miami coast. I'm a ringer plug looking like Sammy Sosa. 01 when he was well done like Granny's roast. The ancestors sponsor this. I don't know them niggas. All they do is talk like conscious shit. We living it. We in the streets like House of Consciousness. KTL in the ATL, MIA, NYC. Multi-dimension like MIB. We are not the same. I am a sovereign. We are not the same. I am a problem. I was made for this. 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 I'm not a product of the cages that they raised us in. Bred to be a king, I'm not a slave to this. I was made for 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 this. I'm not a product of the cages that they raised us in. Bred to be a king, I'm not a slave to this.
The results strongly support that these beings are not closely related to
I ain't never met a free person. I don't get along with these earthlings. I'm trying to seek purpose, fight for something I believe's worth it. Feel the curse, I'ma reverse it. I don't dream cause I sleep nervous. Yet I keep flirting, face death like a Steve Irwin. Whole heat, I'ma drink thermos. Tell the bartender keep serving. I'm trying to be perfect, choose a dirty shit to clean dirt with. the vegetable, body electrical, acid and alkaline, body so flexible. The shooter speaks like a Uber Eats. Got a group of these suited these scooter bees. While letting the Uzi Aruga speak, an American got up in Cuba eat. The powers they seek and powers the weak. They following creeps, powers that be, inherit the world from cowards and sheep. Been to the mountaintop towers and peaks, flowers and sweets and showered our feet. The lightning and thunder that shower the sleep, shower the bees. This not the first, this our receipts. What would I do with my last breath? Would I yell? Would I cry? Would I laugh? Cause I'm glad that I'm past that mess. Till I pass, never felt that blessed. Even bad breath when you living is better than good breath. When you lack flesh, got a glass chest that I cracked and my lost breath hasn't made it back yet. I'm on my last breath, walking the last step. I'm on the last test, final answer and my last guess. Wonder what I gotta pass next. I'm on my last quest, so much harder than my last track. Mad bless, hope I can outlast death. Grim Reaper got my address, got on my last cent. Cash spent from a check I don't even have yet from my last rent. Swear that shit has got me mad stressed. I inherited my dad's debt, never got to hear his last breath. And the only reason I ain't passed yet, I'm the first ever and the last left.
Like a track fish, I attract women, they the bad women. I'ma splash in them, leave a bag with them. Then I raise seeds to be mad different. If I die now, I'm coming back in them. Cause they dad missing, but they cash dripping. Cause they royalty, so they brag different. Ain't no ass kissing, never had feelings. Seen a white victim in a black witness. Mac ripping on my last mission. Yak sipping, blowing blackism. Gat missing, he was lack slipping. Smack hit him, now he act different. Apparition, the bad vision, the Mac that chip him and crash the system. Uncle Tom, cause you that willing. Fuck the law, I'm going back to living. Astral prisms of black religions, activism to conversations, sacrilegious to palms of Satan, black magicians, Babylon erasing, raise our hands to God we praising, hustling, American we racing, Nipsey at the finish line, he waiting.
What would I do with my last breath? Would I yell? Would I cry? Would I laugh? Cause I'm glad that I'm past that mess. Till I pass, never felt that blessed. Even bad breath when you living is better than good breath. When you lack flesh, got a glass chest that I cracked and my lost breath hasn't made it back yet. I'm on my last breath, walking the last step.
There you have it, family. There you have it. Off of the monumental album Holy Ghost 2, that is Last Breath, featuring Red Pill and Blue Pill. Please believe it. They need to we need to petition to get that video shot. I mean ASAP. That video needs to be shot. I need to shoot that in Times Square when it's like vanilla sky empty, standing on top of a 18-wheeler doing my thing. But let me go ahead and bring my co-host in the building tonight. We have our co-host, the one and only, Brother Blue Pill. Peace,
Peace,
brother.
love, and light, brother Blue. Live and direct. Yes, indeed. What's good with you, bro?
Oh man, can't call it. I might spoil it. I am here celebrating life, you know, and at the same time mourning a life that was lost, a life that, you know, was going to be celebrated tonight, a life that for the family who may not be familiar with a light, we're here to shine a light. We are here to speak highly of our great master teacher, Baba Kalindi, and also our other two master teachers, Baba Kreda Mutwa, Baba Africa, Baba Dr. Africa, Dr. Liela Africa. They say that death comes in threes, right? They talk about the Trinity and the death cycle. Well, in the span of about 2 weeks, in a short span of about 2 weeks, family, we have gained 3 extremely, and I cannot stress the word extremely. We have gained 3 monumental, extreme ancestors. Now, they say that the library burns down every time that we lose one of our ancestors,
Our elders,
and
right?
one of our elders pardon me. Is there's something going on with a phone? Sounds like there's like a ticking taking place.
Yeah, I mean, I hear that, but I can't say that that's coming from my phone, but I do hear it.
Okay.
You feel me?
So we have heard the adage about the library burning down.
When you're talking, that's when it's kind of jumping up.
Oh, let me do something. Maybe it's the audio. Give me a minute.
All right. Yeah. But I believe what the brother was saying is that when you lose an elder, you lose an entire library, you know. Um, Case in point, I was hearing Dr. Shiva on Young Pharaoh, and he was talking about his mother had a traditional skill set that was handed down through bloodline, and that
Yeah.
was the ability to look at the face and be able to diagnose just by looking at the face what the malady is in the body. And I encountered somebody like that last year in Little 5 Point. Peace, my brother. Right? I
Peace, Daryl.
encountered somebody like that, a Little 5 Point. He was able to look at the face and tell my entire life story. So these are skills and techniques, right? Like I said, this particular time wave that we are in, it's almost like it's a dichotomy between the Eastern and the Western world. You feel me? Where you really seeing what the result is from people in this land are under a Eastern philosophy and an Eastern God, but they still have a Western mind. You understand?
Yeah.
They still have the white man's Western mind, and there's no gods in the West. All the gods that came over from the East. You dig what I'm saying? So this is a point in time where we're supposed to come into our godhood, our God self, our Godship. You know what I'm saying? These are the ancestors, the latest line of legacy of the pantheon of what they call the 24 elders, right? There's rows and there's rows and there's rows of them. Then there's that inner core, the ones who know you most recently and intimately. You know what I'm saying?
Council.
The councils of the elders, you speak on it, right? You speak on it. Even the Saint Nip would be considered eldership. You feel me? At this particular point where these are the ancestors that are ushering in this paradigm shift, this change, right? The fact that something is being shifted and ignited on this planet. If the ground underneath your feet is shifting, why would you say that universal law is as above, so below? So you think that the heavens ain't shifting? You think the skies ain't moving? You feel that if the book has gone from a dead letter word to a living testament that has taken on flesh, do you not think that the same mythos is playing out in the heavens? Because you're not reading enough, but all of the writing is on the wall. So tomorrow, right, in Rome, they're calling for a mass banishment of what they call the devil's energy. They're calling on Saint Michael, like I said they would, right? I said, watch Michael pop up. Michael popped up in many ways. He popped up less than 48 hours after that in a documentary that they're doing on him again. Then the night when the moon walked on the full moon, shit, that was empty. That was moonwalking. And now they're doing a mass exodus. They say that this coronavirus, Christian church is now saying this is the Antichrist, this is the devil. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we understand the symbolism on the flip side of what that means as well, right? And we also understand the symbolism of them saying coronavirus. Corona is the crown, it's the sun. They said that a virus is not living, it's anti, it's death. But it is, it's billions of years old. It's a very intelligent organism. In this particular one, this has artificial intelligence, okay? Because this is a nano, right? This is not just a virus. This is technology. This is biowarfare. And it has a spiritual component attached to it as well. So it's the sorcery of pharmacology. right? Coming to full fruition. They have merged their weird science now with the spirituality aspect of their priesthood, bringing through, right, the this new science of artificial intelligence, where now they're saying we can put the ghost inside the machine. The ghost is also artificial intelligence. So this particular COVID-19, which is code, right? It's COVID, it's a code, right? It attacks like it has intelligence. The shit attacks like it's targeted. You feel me?
What is? Can I get this? Can I get this? Can I get this
Wait,
layup?
let me just make the analogy, because sometimes we can talk and people think the shit sounds off kilter, but I'm saying let's run a ratio test, family, right? The percentages, because you all play numbers. Majority of you go to the slots or you play lotto. So what's the chances and the odds that the shit hits Prince motherfucking Charles and it hits Boris, right? What's the chance out of the population of Iran that the shit be hitting, the shit will come and hit the general?
That's right.
Right? That means that according to the percentage and the ratio, the rest of the population should at least be 1 million infected if the shit goes all the way to the top. And these are the people responsible for the intelligentsia of operating, right, an entire you know, powerful piece of the puzzle. Like that's smacking you back for Brexit. The shit has a hit factor to it.
It has a hit factor to it. I was asking for the alley-oop because you know they postponed the NBA season, but I'm trying to get my Zion on.
Go ahead.
COVID. What's the hell is a 19? COVID-19. 119. The 1 is A and the 9 is I. So COVID AI, right? This is this quote unquote bioweapon is using nanotechnology.
That's a fact.
There are rappers, the same rappers that told you that bitches ain't shit, sell crack to your mama, kill your people that look like you. There are people like Charlemagne, the dog. There's other people like Angela Fry and all of these other contracted woke joke slaves, right? Who people and who are giving the conscious community their ass to kiss, right? And they are being activated by the corporations to ridicule anybody speaking about 5G or anybody questioning the fact that the coronavirus is not what they say it is, and anybody bringing up any kind of doubt that's contrary to what the mainstream media and the Democrats are pushing in order to get to the vaccinations, in order to get to all of the other things that is in alignment. They fuck a butter biscuit. They putting on for a stimulus check at this point. So if you do not indict them as complete enemies of the state based off of the activities that you saw a large, huge majority of the woke community, the woke jokesters, they are enemies of the state at this point. They have shown treason to levels that is unforgivable, mind you, with the platforms that they have. They have people, exactly, they have men who claim to be woke, who utilize. This is how they got over, and we have to keep this in mind. I'm going to get a plug real quick. Let me see. I don't want my computer to die. Talk to the family for like 2 minutes, and I'll be right back.
Right. You know, what the brother's hitting on is the level of complicity. You could see that the motherfucking fix was in, right? You put the front line against the quote-unquote conscious community where they take all of the soft talking points and build on that, but never seem to get to the motherfucking the meat of the dialogue, what's underneath it all. You feel me? You never hear them speaking about anyone who's complicit with these quote-unquote plots and plans that they just, you know, hit on about that much but never go underneath the surface. So that's a counterintelligence program. You feel me? To put that frontline defense there that controls the narrative and now become the gatekeepers of quote unquote access to consciousness or how it's disseminated on national platforms. You understand? And then co-opting the talking point so now they could become the talking heads, figureheads of said pantheon, where they like, oh no, we the go-to. Y'all gotta go over there.
And this is where this is what happens.
Co-opt the entire conversation by leaving all of the ingredients. You got vegetable soup, you forgot the celery, the potatoes, and everything else. It's just broth. You feel me?
It's been hijacked. I saw a video where Charlemagne was using Dr. Umar's name in the same connotation that they use Hotep was. He was using Dr. Umar's name in the same connotation that they would use Hotep nigger, right? And he was ridiculing the quote-unquote 5G research, right? But what he never did with his platform, he has about 4 platforms. He has a platform where he has homoerotic relationships with a white guy named Andrew Schultz, right? And they pass it off as comedy. And black men and women who also have those same kind of tendencies, they try to pass it off as, you know, everything on like Comedy Central, a lot of stuff that Seth Garland and all of them are behind. That's just homoerotic bromance, and people pass it off as innocent comedy. But that's not what it is, and you niggas should be ashamed of yourself for, you know, always promoting stuff like that. But he has a show with Andrew Schultz. He also has the Breakfast Club. He also have a radio podcast, and he has a show with Joe Budden where they get up sometimes and get on. So on all of the platforms that he has his hands on, he also is a producer, so he can make phone calls. Right. He didn't call any of the quote unquote scientists in our community. He didn't call Wesley Muhammad. He didn't call. He didn't go into his Rolodex and say, "I'm looking for somebody with some solid information because people are dying, and I'm not going to act like I'm the expert. And I'm for if I was studying, and if I was really woke like that, and if I was out here protesting last week, riding Kaepernick's kneecaps, then I would never trust Big Pharma. I wouldn't trust Big Brother. I wouldn't trust the media. So woe on to me if I ever promote the media agenda. Woe on to the nigga who interviewed Bill Gates. Was that the dude Noah from South Africa, the mulatto comedy dude? He brought Bill Gates on TV and didn't roast him. He brought Bill Gates and he normalized Bill Gates by interviewing him. I didn't even watch the interview. But if it didn't make crazy headlines, it wasn't worth watching.
Right. I mean,
so this is the trade-off. This is what happened. When the conscious teachers went on the Breakfast Club, there was a trade-off that took place. This goes back to why I say that we have to focus on authenticity versus that Hollywood fake shit. Because what happened when the conscious teachers get on the Breakfast Club? You bring on the Breakfast Club quality of membership. What does the Breakfast Club offer you? Quantity of membership. You trade your quality of membership for quantity of membership. You get on these platforms that are fucking garbage. They have low quality of membership. They don't have quantity. They have quality of membership. But those people on Vlad and those people on World Star and those people on the Breakfast Club, the masses are the asses. So those are a lot of masses. They will not challenge the teachers. They don't help the teachers rise. Everybody that went on Vlad and the Breakfast Club is not more lit than they were the day before they went on Vlad and in the Breakfast Club. And that's a fact. They might be known, but we know that fame means nothing. They're not more lit than they was before these shows slowed them down. So what happened? What took place? Vlad and Charlemagne and them gained the audience of Umar. They gained the audience of all of these people. They gained Wesley's audience. So if they bring you on the show, your audience is the quality audience who wasn't never paying them attention, who wasn't giving them the benefit of the doubt. Now they're like, you know what? after Umar leaves the Breakfast Club, I'm gonna stick around and listen to the morning show. I'm gonna tune back in because they rocking with my big homie. You know what I mean? They putting him in front of the world, but they're giving you quantity, but that quantity is not quality.
Look.
You were better off with the 100 followers that you had that was riding with you. They wouldn't let you be, you know, they was checking you at the door because you was checking your own ego because you knew amongst quality of membership, you could not be who you went out there to become amongst these quantity of people who don't even know how to check. They don't know they don't know what a God is. They don't know God protocol. They don't know how to sit a God down. So that's what you see taking place. People are trading their audiences and they lost in the long run because now these people are certain, they have a certain certification inside. There is no community there. They merged everything. So the shit has been democratized, it's been leveled. You don't know anything. You know, everybody is watching and listening to. They'll take, if Charlemagne has breaking news on a video and he says some shit, that's God, right? That's the word. That's law to certain people. They will argue you down.
Fact. That's a fact, right? It was a clever co-opting.
Very clever.
It was a clever co-opting.
Very
You
clever.
get what I'm saying? But we have answered the call into that by releasing our own streaming network. So Netflix.com is a remedy. It's an answer to that. It could be big as any entertainment conglomerate. You feel me?
Yes, indeed.
So we don't even, I mean, we see the treason. So to me, it's like they just laying the foundation and laying the soil that they ultimately gonna lay in. You feel me? They lay in the soil that they're gonna lay in. Because regardless of what they say is not based in truth, we know that there's truth there. And they showing their hand, like you said, by not even doing the weighing of the particular conversation or the argument or the debate or the whatever you want to call it. Like, weigh the evidence. You know what I'm saying? Don't just be totally dismissive of it at a time when people are categorically dying. You feel me? And there's a cleansing of the sort heading our way because of this economic avalanche that is almost, you know, promised to bury a majority of people who are considered a permanent underclass, and as their new designation goes, non-essential. Useless eaters is what they used to call it. You feel me? So there is a clarion call that has went out to warriors to suit up and boot up. You feel me? Because the elder identified what he was going through as an attack, right? Yeah. He identified it as an attack that was coming from the quantum. Okay? They're not playing fair, right? This is war. Understand? This is war. And unfortunately, because of initial unpreparation in times of war, there will be casualties, right? There will be casualties. But, you know, also there are warriors that are being called back because in the scriptures, right, in the biblical rendition or rendering of what this particular time represents, because I would always say, look, like that book sounded like it was written about the future, right?
You do.
Always say that. So what we're bearing witness to, like I said, you know, the seals are broken and the books are open. So you have the first plague, right? And the number 40, the reason I'm able to track this information is because of my high level observation of the number 44. And the number 44 means blood, but in the definition of the Godwin's Kabbalistic Encyclopedia, it says the first plague of Egypt, right? So I'm always following the 44s and correlating. Yeah, there's an angel aspect and there's a flowery aspect to it as well. But I was taught to go to the Kabbalah. Okay, I was taught to go through the astral theological renditions and breakdown. I was taught to look through things through metaphysical lens. And because I know that the 44 represents a cube, there's many sides to how you can observe the fluctuation of energy of this number. So me tracking the 44s, I'm seeing the next plague come, right? Because I seen coronavirus, you know, in December because the 44s was popping up in the news stories in China. And I know that the number 4 is an ominous number for China. And I know that they was going into their new year. You understand? So I was able to even project and predict. I'm like, look, this one is going to hit. This one they're going to make it a international situation. And it was the day before their new year is when it became a global conversation. And they got put on lockdown. So they wasn't able to bring in their new year. Right? And then
Year of the rat.
Even the correlation with the year of the rat, that goes back to Takashi, because Takashi is 6'9". 6'9" is Cancer. Cancer is the home. Cancer is the moon. You understand? So they send this dude home when everybody's at home, and he's now going to be the home entertainment. Like I said, anything, they can do anything during that hour that Takashi's live on Instagram.
What you mean they could do anything?
You're talking about they could pass any legislation.
Oh,
they can move. They can make any move. They can move a UFO through this bitch if they need to, right? People are gonna be in their home, fixed to their phone, to their TV, to their entertainment. Nobody does it like Takashi for them, right?
Oh, no, nobody does it.
Yeah, he releases a different type of endorphin for them, a different type of dopamine. He's dummy boy. This is a dummy generation, my dude. If you haven't noticed,
they want to dumb out.
Yeah, they want to dumb out. They dumbing right now as we speak. So I'm looking at the 44s matriculate through this. You know what I'm saying? And I'm seeing the fact that this shit is popping up like cold. There's no way that from the day that I was tracking it from December to every single day that the news has come out, there's a 44 involved with COVID-19. COVID-19 is cold. It's bad malware, right? It is a code. It is a quantum code, right? They have programmed it. It's a program malware. And 44 is the coding of that. I would normally say it's the fingerprint of God. But being that, based on my research, of course, we live in a simulation. And like Dr. Shiva was saying, when you look at the body and when you look at the computer, they both have the same system. You know what I'm saying? They both have the same systems. Everything is systems. So you're supposed to look at things as systems as well. And, you know, the next plague that we saw was the locusts, right?
In Africa, right?
Africa, which the article came out said now is twice as bad because they have now, you know, they're
not fighting them.
Huh? No, they
multiply.
Yeah, they're multiplying. They hatched.
They hatched. Damn.
Yeah. They said there's wild hornets that are coming here to the Americas to kill with one sting, right? A swarm of them is headed this way.
Are you serious? Like killer bees on the...
Yeah, like killer bees. Woo.
Woo. Woo. Woo back.
Right? R.I.P. to Pop Smoke. I'm surprised nobody, you know, totally put that together. The 25th anniversary of Wu-Tang was last year. You know what I'm saying? Then you got Wuhan in China. Then you got Meet the Wu, right? You understand? And there's more to go. So watch how it twirls. Dig what I'm saying? So you got the locust famine. They said that it's going to be rumors of war. How did the year start? January 2nd.
With a war, with rumors of war with Soleimani.
Soleimani. S-O-L means sun.
Sun, yes. Soleimani.
Soleimani. Right? That's how you started the year. Rumors of war. Right? And I want y'all, Like when you go to the 404 on the computer when shit is deleted. It's the delete code. It's the Thanos snap.
Facts.
Google it. I can give you 44 articles right now with COVID-19 attacking in 44s. How does such a random number pop up that attacks people in every county in the city, in the country? And it hit in Kansas on April 4th. In the heart, it hit the heart because 44 is blood. So it hit the heartland of America on April 4th, same day we did the meditation.
And hold
that
on.
energy vector definitely did something, but there will be blood. Because Kansas was also the winner of the Super Bowl, and I was explaining during the Super Bowl what that ritual entailed. Same way that I told people, I said, what? Once San Francisco loses, same way when they lost in 2012, the Super Bowl was in 2013, February 2nd, I believe, at the Superdome in New Orleans with Kaepernick. When Kaepernick lost, a few days later, they had to remove Pope Benedict and bring in Pope Francis, right? Because the abdication of the throne had to happen because NFL is the new religion and the new church. And in the new church, in this new pantheon, they lost to the Moors. Baltimore Ravens beat them. Just like this time when the Kansas City Chiefs beat the 49ers, the Pope is removed, right?
Yeah.
You said
Aries head.
Huh?
Now the God said Aries head crown corona too. So the Aries head. So yes, I had to add in and then somebody in the chat threw it in there because I was trying to hit you with another alley. I'm trying to get these niggas some OB topping highlights. You know what I'm talking about? And all I was gonna say was that Kansas was the same birthplace of the 1918 Spanish flu, right? The 1918 Spanish flu that killed 25 million came out of it was born out of Kansas, the breadbasket of America. And this was during wartime because it was a soldier that carried the virus, or they carried the virus into war, right? The Spanish flu was carried into war, and it basically they were still having war while there was a pandemic, right? But my question is, why every 100 years is the planet programmed to release a pandemic? Now, we know that the inclusion of the electric technology that is in the electromagnetic field is exasperating what we know, or what is being called, or what was labeled a pandemic. But what were they calling that before it was called a pandemic, right? I know that it was the Black Plague in the 1300s, and they were calling it plague, and they were relating it to biblical things. But prior to the biblical aspect of the church involving themselves, what was the connotation when something was taking place and masses of people were leaving the planet, right?
You said, what was the word for that?
Not the word. Hold on. This shit still sound crazy. Let me fix this. I don't. Hold on. Nigga. Internal mic. Check. Mic check.
Yeah, you sound out. Come on.
My question is, what was it seen as an omen when multiple people were leaving the planet before the inclusion of the Christianity? Because Christianity made us afraid of death. Christianity made us fear death. It was the programming of this Dante's Inferno and this fake concept of death that disempowered a lot of our people, because we began to be mortals because of the fear of the inevitable, the fear of death. Prior to that, death was embraced. So there were times when hundreds of people would die off, and that was seen as a good thing.
And when you cut the understanding,
yes,
appreciation, an acceptance of death, then you cut the person off from the story of the afterlife, right? Which is now, okay, you become more powerful and you tap in. Well, I hear myself.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
All right, hold on.
All right. You know, what I was saying about this particular this virus, this incident, this time that we're in, it has changed life and it has changed death, because death is no longer the same process. The funerary rites have been interrupted. And one of the most important things about our people is the significance that we and the emphasis that we put into the funerary rites, in particular, the first 72 hours. So, this is a reminder that we are to carry tribute, honor, and reverence, right, for our brother Master Kalindi in his first 72 hours. How we go about doing that. Of course, we're gonna do a meditation. What time is it?
We started the show at 11:11 on the dot, on the T.
Wow, that's amazing.
It is. Can I finish this point? I would just want to wrap up the that point about. I want to pose a question though. I want to pose a question because I witnessed a pattern taking place, and it led me to go into deep meditation today when I got the news about Baba Kalindi. When I realized that there was a pattern of the threes leaving, and I paid attention to who those three were, right? And then I began to pay attention to the other elders who are making transition. There's a lot of jazz musicians that are leaving us. There's even European elders.
There's a lot of people's nanas.
A lot of the nanas are leaving.
A lot of aunties.
A lot of aunties are leaving.
There's
Yes.
A lot of uncles. There's a lot of people, period. You understand?
Yes.
Yes. So continue.
And I was saying, like, these three elders have contributed so much, and the dexterity of what they spoke of and what they taught speaks to the time. So once again, my spiritual eye, or my third eye, is becoming activated, because Dr. Africa was about health. He was an elder who represented the elder guardship, or the eldership of the health pantheon.
Pantheon, right.
He's healed, he's helped, and he's risen many, many people throughout his quote unquote his years.
His tenure,
right. His tenure. Then Credo Mutua, right? So that's health, right? That's the health aspect. Then Credo Mutua was focusing on the knowledge of self, because Credo Mutua was many of ours master teacher before the internet, because he was of the VHS era. He was one of the first teachers who helped expand the quote unquote the consciousness of the community when they were only relegating themselves to Egypt. But he took it a bit further and got us into the Dogons. He got us into Sirius. He got us into being aliens. He got us into our extraterrestrial galactical self. And it was something about what he was saying that it was resonating in a lot of people who were coming into contact with his information. So he opened us up.
Yeah, and I have met, females from South Africa who have told me about, areas of that country where people know about encounters with the reptilians, and some of these stories are commonplace. And I've met some with very interesting features, so that brother had brought a bridge. His conversation bridged the conversation to other people, in our life, like Robert Smalls, like Mo Dog, like Delbert Blair. You know what I'm saying? Like people have experienced the next phase of what we're talking about. Humanity is not, you're not here alone. You need to get over that shit. You feel me?
That's a fact.
Like,
and he was when he was teaching about sexuality. These when he was teaching with David Icke, and they were talking about metaphysical and all kind of higher level of information. It didn't even matter at that point because it wasn't like he was trying to be somebody's alpha male teacher or master or leader, and he wasn't. He was just a regular. He was a teacher, the same way that any of you would pick up a Shakespeare book or, huh?
He represented the priesthood.
He represented the priesthood.
So he was.
So
he was a shaman.
Credo.
People, that was their first encounter, even with the concept. You understand?
Yes. So Credo Mutua was allowing us to look at the star systems. He was allowing us to venture forth and look into the constellations to find ourselves. And Baba Kalindi was the one who allowed us to look inside ourselves, to the constellation that exists within ourselves, what is called the inner space or the inner keys to inner space. So all of them dealt with health because Credo Mutua improved our mental health, our mind states about who we saw in the reflection in the mirror.
Our fractured imagination, he was able to put those pieces back together. Help people make sense of, damn, like, why I resonate with dragons, why I feel this way about, as a child, I used to see this in my, you know what I'm saying? Like, he brought a lot of that shit home because, we are kind of like, we're born in darkness. And what I mean by that is that the light that exists on the continent, which they call the dark continent, is people are mindful of other realms, dimensionality wise, of beings that exist amongst us, because they see all of that over there. They've experienced it. You know what I'm saying? They've seen levitation. They've seen things that will boggle the mind over here that people can only accept as witchcraft, and then they will fall into judgment, you know what I mean, without understanding the manipulation of magnetic fields and molecules, So the African American or the black or the Negro or the whoever is, they the teenager of the planet. You know what I'm saying? We got to say that. You feel me? They got a powerful mind. They got powerful access because the pressurized aspects of their carbon and their experience, and the fact that on the flip side of trauma is just as much strength, right? The motherfucker who like, oh, he got that mutant strength.
Power.
You know what I'm saying? And you super traumatized. Like, that's the potentiality that Black America promises themselves they could get it together, right? They the ticking time bomb waiting to blow, but they still ticking. There's a difference. You feel me? Now the continental African who has uninterrupted genomes, who has no traumatic experience of having a malware program going through his blood at all times, conflicting with his entire universe. Hence the fact that it's so easy for people to drill one another to look like them, because you got a combatant spirit inside of you based on the epigenomic interruption that took place on those slave farms, right? Those breeding farms. When this white man's semen was inseminated in, in our mamas. You understand? And it became combatant. And that has never been dealt with. People have never reconciled the cracker within themselves over here. So we don't have the same DNA. We're looking at the news and getting it confused because we like, oh, the Central African has a superior genetic blood structure, right, that is able to thwart off COVID-19. That don't mean that got anything to do necessarily with you when your genome structure has been interrupted, not only with interruption by way of rape and incest and all of the rest of that stuff, but the foods that we eat. Because they said that epigenomic interruption, if your grandmother ate a cheeseburger, right, when she was 12, she affected the next 7 generations.
Damn.
That's epigenomes, right? This is the code that they have been able to crack once they crack the genome, right? So you know, there's a lot that, you know, we have to really understand about who and what we are, and we have to get that under our caps in quantum speed, because we need to take a quantum leap. Because if I draw out the scenario of how this thing is going to play out, it don't have a pretty ending at all. You feel me? But to finish what I was saying about the whole aspect of these plagues, you know what I'm saying? After the pestilence comes the famine, right? So that's what's approaching quickly. And once you famish the black body that's already under attack and now it's in fear, it's gripped by fear, because I heard a lot of fear coming out of Diddy and them. You understand? Right? Once you attack, because fear produces cortisol. Cortisol shuts the body down.
Cortisol.
Right? Frozen, right? So now you're frozen in a box. You become frozen food. And then you hear that knock.
Tick tock.
And you hear that knock, that tick tock. You don't know who's on the other side of that. You feel me?
Tick.
So you get put into a box and then you get drawn down upon from all sides. You don't know, you can't tell the difference between the militia, the paramilitary, the military, or the police, right? They both belong to the same fraternal order, okay? And the designation of that fraternal order is that Trump is going to promise his constituency what he promised them. If they give him 4 more years to finish the job, my niggas, guess what? Lights out. That's called the end game.
That's the end game.
So you are in the end game right now. You feel me?
He's promising them you. This is
it's about you.
He's promising his base the fact that they can have the booty. He's telling them, like the same way in Game of Thrones, when they went to war, they had to solicit another kingdom. They promised them, yo, you could get the women. You could get. They had to negotiate. He's gonna give his base the blacks.
He's feeding his base.
He's feeding
like
he's going. Blood. Yeah, there will be blood. He's willing to sacrifice. That's
red blood or red meat, right? His people is hunkered down. They're not worried. They're not moving.
They're
not being ravished.
They're not being ravished.
They've closed their borders off. They're not allowing nobody in. They have already become not even a sundown town. You can't. The sun won't even hit you in them towns. You can't go. They have already consolidated and put their borders up, right? They put their borders up already. They have contained themselves. They have 4, 5, 3, 2 years worth of food, right? They have stockpiles of weapons. They already have training. They can live in the woods if necessary and need be. They know how to navigate. They know how to move. They have the throughways and they have the family in positions where they get the first word, right? And what do we have? We have our phones and our TVs to look and watch and say what Trump say. Like, oh shit, when they're gonna open the doors, when they're gonna open the gates again, I can't wait to get back to work. My nigga, you're really not understanding what's taking place, and the fact that the necessity that we no longer have options to say, oh, I don't want to tap into the spiritual side of myself. I don't want to tap into the inner verse of myself, right? You are at war. There's only one way out, and that's to go within. So you have to set up an altar. You have to, burn the candles to the pantheons of the ancestors, right? That are newly minted parts of these councils that still have a lot of Ashe on them based on the fact that people are always saying their name and heaping praise on them. You got to convert this shit. That's the true motherfucking skill and talent of the alchemists.
Family.
Like, you have to tap into that shit is like spiritual adrenochrome right now.
That's a fact. Shout out to all my brewhas out there. It's y'all not gonna be venturing off your path if y'all go ahead and get you a Saint Nip candle. You know what I'm talking about? If you go get you a Gigi and Kobe candle,
Charge it up. Play his music while his candle burn.
Go get you a Pop Smoke candle.
Roll up some OG Marathon. Yeah, play some Pop Smoke. Do the war chants.
Do the woo walk. Do the woo walk.
Yeah. Do the woo walk and do the war chants. right? And get into that mind state.
Yeah,
Because
because
that's where you are at.
Pop Smoke and Nipsey had war music, right? You were at war.
Right. They represented street organizations. And, you know, the thing that we never embraced in our community, and this was a detriment of our community, the community embraced intellectuals, but they never embraced the warrior class, right? And you have to always have something for your warriors to feast on. You have to be able to feed your warriors, and you have to be able to give your warriors assignment, or your warriors are going to end up eating one another. They're going to eat themselves, right? Because they got to eat. You know, they wake up every day and they reach for the iron first because they know what they came here for, but they have never been given a direction or how to mobilize, strategize, or who even the op was. They out here without no information. They know something ain't right, but they don't know what it is, right? And then I got the phone call in some communities, they blaming consciousness. They mad at the, yo, this is y'all fault. You feel me? Get out the way. We trying to get this check. We trying to eat again. Yo, I heard it today. The hustlers is crying. The traps are dried up. Are you crazy? The prices is crazy. Look, the prices is crazy. The Mexican cartel said, look, they drying our business up. They said that the fiends don't want to come outside. Everybody's locked in. They said, our hustlers don't make house visits. How we gonna eat? They dried the streets up, bro. And then Trump and them did the press release where they was at the border. Yo, we taking all of this.
Yeah.
Look, the pharmacy, Big Pharma's taking everything.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to get your trees from Big Pharma. You're going to get your coke from Big Pharma. You're going to get the pills from Big Pharma. You're going to get your lean from Big Pharma. Right? Everything. I told you, the biggest donors to Obama's election, because this started, I'm not even saying it started back then, but this is when it was put into hyperspeed, when the first collapse happened, and it got, look, I was in a Sony building at that time. I used to have a office on the 21st floor with windows on both sides. When the financial market was melting down, they was all meeting up the block on Fifth Avenue. I used to see it from my window. Black car after black car after black car after black car. While he was still in election campaign mode trying to transition, they was restructuring the entire economy and making deals and shuffling paper, right? And sending billions out the back door. And he had to come in and catch the bag. But his biggest donors was the telecom industry and the pharmaceutical industry, right? So even when I seen his primary push was healthcare, I said, look, with telecom, with these phones that we have, they know by projection in 20 years, everybody's going to have cancer because of the cell phone radiation. So why not put the emphasis on universal healthcare or a healthcare system that standardizes healthcare for all Americans when you know all of them is going to be patients? And America is in the business of propping up dead bodies. They're not in the business of saving lives. They're in the business of stringing you along until you die and juicing you for everything that you got. And you die in debt.
That's fact.
And then they fuck up your Ascension Protocol, right? Because that's what the ancestor money and the rest of that stuff is supposed to be about. They jacking people up. They're not even going to the other side, right? People is they earthbound. They not. These spirits just told me chill. But
spirit is on the corona. But look, you on one. You on point with it.
No, I'm saying that with interruption of funerary rites, the fact that those bodies are being mishandled, right? They're being violated. I've seen that in my meditation. They're violating those bodies. Organ harvesting is taking place. They're you know what I'm saying? They're putting them in mass graves and they're not getting proper burial. There's no dignity in death anymore. If you don't have COVID-19, your death has been downgraded. You feel me?
They don't want to hear about it.
They don't want to hear about it. You almost have to die in that manner to be dignified, just to be undignified. To be dignified later. It's promised of the hereafter. Oh, we're going to talk about you when this shit is over. When is that? Right? So you got to be able to see the end game. What's piled onto this? Because you can see so far in this to say that this is the fall of Babylon and their time is up. My nigga. Even if that's the case, right? What have you done to insulate yourself from the fall, my nigga? If King said that you was in a burning house and you've been complaining 50 plus years about being in a burning house, goddammit, that means if that house of card collapse, who it's going to collapse on, right? You don't got no titanium ceiling. So you sitting there gloating at the fact that you're going to crush because you motherfucking got to see the master's house. You in the basement somewhere, right? He got you doing plumbing. You ain't even make it upstairs yet. But you still in the house because you think the promise of making it upstairs is still promised to you. You won't leave the house. You had an opportunity to get out, huh? And everybody's sitting tight, thinking this shit gonna blow over. But then you got a Bible in your house, my niggas. Right? What was the use of all that time your nana spent with your black ass? If you can't see this for what it is. Right? Because you turned your back on all that information for what? To entertain what? What has that shit done to prepare you for now? Because I can't see it. So you ran away from the church to run to what? Because what has it done for you to prepare you for now in terms of being able to see this thing for what it is, right? And maybe in that particular dogmatic religion or what have you, they have a protocol about how you're supposed to deal in these particular days and times, right? At least the shit would tell you to build an ark. You feel me? Or to pay homage or prepare yourself for the coming of whatever that book promised. The great ones, the angels, right? Michael come with the legions, and then the Christ come. So they said the Christ is preceded by the Antichrist. So the Christ in this particular mythos, right, or story or narrative is the fact that the sun this year is represented as the most magnified it has ever been. It is operating as the energy source for you, black man, who is going through your Jubilee year, headed to the coronation when the sun has a solar eclipse on the summer solstice, right? That's when you receive your coronation and assume your throne. And August 20th in Leo, when the sun enters this most glorious station, which is Leo, it's King of Kings station. That's when your motherfucking, your grip and your hold supposed to be permanent. You're supposed to have fully taken the throne back and you're ready for leadership. But not only, we talking about the galaxy is looking for your leadership. Not just the people, not just the babies, not just the women, right? Not just other melanated black and brown or what have you people around the planet that you represent the majority of, that you are now considered the head of, but the head is motherfucking decapitated or incapacitated because the eyes and the head don't work, the brain don't work, the head is, nodding, it's on lean, it got tats on his face, you feel me? But it's not operating efficiently where we're able to see what it is that we need to see. So the master teacher, such as Kalindi, he came with we could call them the psychedelics, right? The sacred medicine, the plants, the mana from heaven, right? The mycelium. Okay, so he puts you on that inner network.
The internet.
That inner internet, right? Which allows you now this symbiotic relationship with fungi, which mysteriously brings you to a symbiotic relationship with the plant kingdom, which mysteriously brings you to a symbiotic relationship with animals, which mysteriously brings you out of that, which symbiotic relationship with the rest of humankind, which brings you into a symbiotic relationship with the other galactic beings that surround you. You feel me?
Higher firmament.
Higher firmness and higher intelligence fires different synapses and improves upon your vision. So now you can see what is hidden by the thinnest of layers.
Facts.
Because the ancestors is right there. They said spirit realm is on your nose, right? But you remove the thinnest of layers and you see the mother plane, you see the mothership. They're all light sentient beings. right? It's all light.
It's all light. It's all energy light.
It's all energy light, and it's right. It's with you. It's right there. Y'all ain't see the moon the other night? You seen that light that was coming through it?
It was a sun.
It was a sun. The moon was a sun.
Facts.
Right? So this is what I'm talking about. And this is what I've been talking about. Right? Is it corona rising or is it coronavirus? Okay? You are at war. Right? Just like all of the books said that you would be. So there's nothing to shirk from. You should accept it and bite at the mantle. You understand? And sink your teeth into it.
That's facts.
And grow a fucking pair and become a legend. You understand?
There's no other way to go but that way. The great inevitable is upon every single one of us.
Like Thanos said, it's inevitable.
It's inevitable. You would be remissive to not grab your to not get your feet planted and go all the way in, my nigga. This is Zion coming off the bench after he got his shit together. Like, it's time to bang. It's really time to turn up. There's nothing else to do at this point. At this point, how is it that niggas is living under the threat of you might not make it to tomorrow? Niggas is still not turned up. You got billionaires that's still acting scary with their money. You got millionaires that's acting scary with their money and sitting around. I can't wait till this is over so I could go back to being a Negro again.
So
you know,
today, I
shit. Hold on. Somebody says, should we get out of New York ASAP? Family, you need to subscribe to this channel because we gave that call about a month ago when I got about that bitch. Yeah,
I know, but they're just coming in.
Okay.
Compassionate.
Okay.
The first time that they're hearing it. So if they're asking for direction, point them in the right direction.
I would highly suggest that you would leave any densely populated city right now. I would suggest that you take advantage of the affordable prices in the real estate market, the Airbnb market, and even in the travel agent, the flight market. I would highly suggest that you have a Geiger counter, which is a radiation counter, and don't feel ashamed to wand everything down before you get out the car. Wand it down before you go into a building. Wand it down. But I would wait this one out for about 2 weeks. Wait till the curve begins to decline before you go back into any densely populated city right now. New York is not it, y'all. I mean, because whatever the experiment is and whatever the attack is and whatever the targets are, like Blue said, directed energy weapons.
They keep emphasizing epicenter and ground zero. You have to understand or understand that we live in a post 9/11 world. This is 19 years, a year away from the 20th anniversary. The way, again, esoterically, that the World Trade Center is set up as homage to Saturn, to Chronos. And Saturn represents 20-year cycles. So the way that they're building up to get to the 20-year cycle of, 9/11, I mean, they definitely would have solidified everything that they laid out with the Patriot Act. So they can look at that initial legislation, and they can say all of the stuff that the Project of America had recommended them to do, they weren't able to get done in 11, but they got it done just now. You feel me? They have finished and put the period on the motherfucking agenda.
Period, poo. Yeah, but look, it's exactly what you're saying, Blue, about the 20-year Saturn cycle, because like I said before, if you want to look at this through a cosmological lens, if you want to look at this through the lens where you remove emotions and you don't get caught up in the fear campaign, you say you study Saturn, you study Pluto, you study Saturn, you study Jupiter, and you study the alignments that have been taking place, like Blue was talking about, ever since the quote-unquote solar eclipse that took place on Christmas, because that's when this quote-unquote theater began to kick into action. You are all currently within the theater of war,
right?
A new theater.
let's say the Ring of Fire eclipse on December 26th triggered the Ring of Fire volcano
eruptions in the there was a Ring of Fire volcano eruptions,
right,
and earthquakes that preceded that as well. This was not HARP. This was not man-made. You know, I understand that the fracking and things of that nature are causing ruptures within the earth, but what we're talking about in this incident, this was all galactic. This was all this was just part of the machinations of the planet.
The ushering in.
This is the ushering in. So we are in some extremely exciting times. Just in the last 7 days on 444, we had an alignment, okay? A profound, a very powerful alignment. You have to look as above, so below. You have to study the precession of the equinox. You have to know what epoch, what time you are in. You have to know what period you are in. It's like a season. There's a season of death. There's a season of abundance. There's a season of joy. And we're in 2020. We're in a quantum realm now. We're not in binary. We're not in 0 and 1. We're in 0 1 1 0 0 0 1 1 0 0 1 0 0 1. It's all kind of things at the same damn time. So by being in 2020 in this duality, quote unquote, year or expression, you're going to get the good and you're going to get the bad. When something negative comes before you, prepare for something positive to roll up immediately after that. So even if you are to receive a bonus or a gift, prepare to be attacked by somebody toxic, or prepare to lose something, or to prepare to give something up. So for those of us who are out here, what we say we're losing loved ones or people are leaving us, how about people are joining the ancestral realm and becoming even more powerful so they could aid and assist you in a journey that the future beholds, like Blue is talking about, because it's been forecasted that we are going to enter in some trying times, and maybe we need our quote unquote ancestors who have said on many occasions, right? The 3 ones that just left, Dr. Africa, he said, I'm done with humanity. I'm tired of these niggas, right? His words. I could do better. I could do more work on the other side because I understand what needs to be done. Because I've sat here in the quote unquote petri dish of humanity, right? I dumpster dive with humanity. I know what needs to be done to you niggas, so I'm gonna do it on the quantum realm. On the other side, Credo Mutuar was like, I can't wait to get out of here. I want to leave. Dr. Africa told me.
I interviewed him in 2015. He was in pain. You know, he was in pain, like how Delbert was in pain in his heart.
Delbert was in pain.
Credo had got flipped on by his people. They robbed him. They for the most part, I think, like even somewhat disposed of him. You know what I'm saying? They tried to take his title away because they said that he spoke to the white man. So there was a lot of weird stuff happening in that village too. You know, like how the weird stuff was happening with Winnie and the children. Like, yeah, it's a lot of weird shit was going on.
I mean,
I don't speak on it, but
yeah,
the brother was in pain. You feel me?
That's right. So Baba Kalindi had conversations with, people that we are very close to in the community. Our younger brother KT the Arch Degree was very close to Baba Kalindi, and KT the Arch Degree, first and foremost, he wants to give his love and his condolences to the family and the loved ones. And when he is healed and when he is out of his mourning state, then our brother KT the Arch Degree will speak on the situation with because he was very close to Baba. Baba was like a father figure, and KT has lost a lot of father figures in the last 2 years. His own biological, he lost Dr. Sabi, he lost Grafton Hooker.
Yeah.
He lost Baba Kalindi. So I need you, the family that's out there, to do your best, and give our brother some time to heal, but be supportive of him and understand that spiritually and mentally he's being prepared in ways that no one can fathom. He's being prepared for something that is great and powerful because he has a ring of power surrounding him. So you have to be able to take toll, and you have to be able to basically take an inventory about what is going on around you, why it is happening, and how do you gain in each situation. You do not lose an ancestor if your blood is still pumping, right? If your blood is still pumping, you'll never lose an ancestor as long as you know how to communicate with them in the quantum realm. That is something that you can never lose. As long as you still say their names, as long as you edify their works, as long as you hold up their quote unquote progeny and feed them, as long as you put food out to feed them, or if you take care and settle their debts for them. That's how you keep this your quantum ancestors quantum entangled to you, and they do works of magic and wonders. And if you were ready to go and initiate oneself, you would see it with your own three eyes, like Baba Kalindi has taken so many of our brothers and sisters on that quote unquote road less travel, that initiation, that to become God. So let's stop playing and let's be honest with ourselves. How do you think you become God with a Facebook change? You become God because you slept with a goddess? You become God because you got your 100th bead or something? No, you become God on your initiate. You have to become initiated. There's an initiation rites of passage. You know what I'm talking about? And that journey is a within journey. If you want to utilize some kind of examples, go and watch Black Panther again, when T'Challa was taking the flower and he was going within for his coronation. His crowning ceremony was not an outer thing. It had to take place. He had to go within. So this is definitely about going within. We have a powerful ancestor on the altar. Like I said, family, ring of power. Tap into it. Ring of power. Saint Nip. The three kings in LA in a year span. This is Ascension Protocol 2020, because my life changed March 31st, 2019. I began my hero's journey. That was the day that Nipsey Hussle was ascended. You understand? And that began a different phase in my journey. And here I go with my twin brother in our 44th year, on this journey. And it's a very interesting journey. But in a year's span of time, we saw three kings get buried in LA. Pop Smoke, right? King of New York, when he made his transition, right? Kobe, the Black Mamba, the king of LA by way of his legacy, and Ermias. You know what I mean? God will rise. You know what I'm saying? Neighborhood, Thundercat, the Leo, Thundercat, right?
The Leo from the land of Judah.
The Leo for the land of Judah, the man with two bosoms, the true Ados. He had an African in his bosom. He had the motherland, and he had the heartland. So there are some very powerful ancestors on the quantum realm. Let's not say the other side, because that confuses people. We have a realm, we have them on the inside. You can meet them if you go inside of yourself. Do not be afraid. If you find staring into the stars on the top of your wraith, you know what I mean, or into the concept, if you see staring into the sky as something that blows your mind away, well, goddamn it, wait till you take about 5 grams. Wait till you really go on a trip. Wait till you go on SpaceX. There's people that are paying $750,000 to take a 4-hour trip to the bottom of the ocean. You know what I mean? To see fish that they've never seen before. But for $7.50, you probably could take that same type of trip inside of your own ocean. and it's never ending. You will never get to the bottom of that ocean. So Baba Kalindi, he is existing in the, there is a portal open right now. There is a portal open right now. And gods are coming through that portal and gods are leaving through that portal. There is a portal open right now. They scaring you and calling things pandemics, and they putting you in fear. There is a portal open the same way that that portal opens up every 100 years. This planet sends people up like they send people down. Do not look at it in the negative sense. Everyone has a date to go. You would want to go when the portal is open. That's called going home. That's how you tap out the right way. Biggie Small made transition when a Halley-Bopp comet was over the planet, and so did the Eternal Atake, because they know what this is about. In Kemet, it wasn't about preparing for your life. It was preparing for life after death. They only was living to die. Okay, that's what this whole goddamn thing was about. It was to leave like a motherfucking legend. So it's not about staying here. It's not about falling in love with this goddamn corpse that you're in. This hunk of flesh. This is a fucking spacesuit. It's a husk. It's a good looking husk, but it's a husk nonetheless. Yeah, I must say. But it's a husk though. You know what I mean? It only houses the light and the spirit. The spirit and the light is the true power. Go ahead and go and kiss that toad. Take that trip. Go ahead and take you some magic mushrooms and find out what the light is about. Look at God in its face. It don't have a goddamn phallic. It's not a person. Look at it in his face, so you'll never have to fear what they call death. When you close your eyes, nigga, you are going. There's no pain. You're a legend. You get enveloped in love. There's two energies: hate and love. And love is the procreative, quote unquote, energy. Hate is the destructive, killing, or the ending. It's two spectrums. It's not good or bad or nothing. It's just hate and love. The light that envelopes you has no traces of hate in it whatsoever, because the one in the all doesn't have the frequency of hate. It's only when you separated yourself did you begin to experience something outside of yourself, which tends to be magnified as the hate frequency or the hate energy, and there's mad different expressions of that: jealousy, fear, fuckboyisms, all of that stupid shit. You know what I'm talking about? But what we need to tap into and what we need to affirm on a daily basis when we wake up and we look at ourselves, because we are still breathing, we have to affirm that we are here to do something and we need to do it. Bottom line, there's no more time to play. There's no more I'm gonna get at you next week. You could unfollow me if you feel like that, because if you niggas is not ready to get at it right now, don't call me, don't touch me, don't poke me, don't inbox me. There is no more next week. It's right now, my niggas. We're in a quantum. It's now. If you're not ready to go in right now, then just jump off the porch when you're ready. We're gonna be doing more of these. It's not gonna stop. Okay. Theoretically, systematically speaking, because of the age of the baby boomers, it's going to keep going. That is their generation is
what they say about hook or crook. It's gonna happen because we have an elder class. We have
an elder class.
The science of retaining life beyond 100+ years. So theoretically, these are situations that we have to prepare ourselves for. Everybody won't be lost in this particular war against whatever this thing is. You know what I mean? Some people are going to, quote unquote, transition naturally or by other means. And these are things that we have to come to grips with, and we have to assume, the position of eldership at some point. Then there's a pantheon that comes behind us that takes over where we left off. And that's the natural process. And then you raise the young up, until or if, God forbid, that process gets interrupted.
And it won't. And the only thing that's missing is the coronation and ceremony. The fact that we don't have ceremony is the fact that we don't see ourselves get ushered into quote unquote eldership or into the council of the young elders. There's no coronation in this community or in this network, so you won't see it take place, but it doesn't mean that it's not taking place. So the changing of the guards is taking place. It has been taking place over the last 10 years in front of the eyes of the people, or in front of the eyes of the world, or in front of the eyes of the galaxy for that matter. But that is what's going on, and that's what's going to continue to go on. And we have to hoist, we have to cloak, we have to protect. You have to protect Blue Pill. You have to protect KT. You have to protect. How dare they say strong enemies? And they didn't send no detail to them. They didn't send a security detail to Mama Pill's house, but they said Sabi has strong enemies. But Mama Pill's name is on those dockets, and so is Ma'a's name, and they still here. So if they're gonna say that strong enemies, you need to send a security detail for a national treasure by the name of.
They got one running behind the cannon. I seen footage of him going into the radio station, right?
With a security detail.
You got dudes like this. So if you're gonna put that light on it, you know what I'm saying? Like that's. I'm not saying it's a slight of him, but goddamn, you know.
But it's always.
I'm just saying that people are not thinking things all the way through. You feel me? There's lapse in judgments, and then you're left with the predicament of saying, oh, maybe you didn't know. Somebody didn't teach them right. You feel me? So, you know, there's a lot of tightening of belts that need to be done. You know what I mean? But I don't want to tribute. You know what I mean? I want to keep the focus and attention where it needs to be.
That's right.
Our elder has joined the realm of the ancestors, and like the brother said, the way that you can honor him is by completing his unfinished works, edifying his completed works, getting to know a little bit more about him, because he has many layers, right? He was a martial arts master, I believe, since the 70s or the 80s. He's graced front covers of magazines. He has his own skill and technique. He has sons that are part of, you know, an historical legacy in the martial arts realm as well. And his research insight on the magical mushroom, or the manna from heaven, is unlike any other. You understand? So the food of the gods. Like, we have episodes with him on Know the Ledge Radio. You can put it in the Google engine, and you can listen to the master in his own voice, tell his own stories, right? And let him resonate through your space, your place, and bring him in. Feel the God. Like, this God is he's an epic warrior. He's an epic part of an ongoing narrative and pantheon. He was not one of the soft ones, right? He was nothing like these rap niggas. You feel me? So let's give him his just due. And at the same time, let's continue giving Dr. Layla Africa his just due, Dr. Sabi his just due, all of the pantheon of the doctors. You understand? Imagine them as the 21 elders, right? Write them all down until you come up with 21. And that's the council of elders that you need to counsel with. You got questions? Go to the 21 elders. Set up the pantheon, right? Top tier and lower tier white candles. Set it up, right? Commune with your elders. And you put yourself in the middle, and that's how you commune with your elders. That's where you get your advice from. You want to make life moves? You feel me? And if you in quarantine and you can't get out, you set a place in front of each of them candles where you assign each one of those elders a candle. You understand? And do that ceremony. And for this brother, at least keep the ceremony in the flame lit for 3 days. If not, get them 7-day candles and continue it. When they go out, get new ones. All right? We need this guidance. We need this covering. We need this protection. And we need this level of communication. So you are now consecrating a line of communication with this mighty spirit. because more than likely at some point, someday, you may need that warrior spirit to come through. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, remember what I said. This is Mars. This is Aries. This is about competition, blood sport, martial arts, right?
Mm-hmm.
We lose the master teacher in the sign of Aries, martial arts, right? When people are being under the threat of martial law, you understand? All of this Mars energy and Saint Michael, who is the archangel, who we call Michael. He's also the patron saint of police, right? Who are inflicted by the corona in the numbers of 44, military, and needs the quote unquote return of this Christ force energy, which we identify, right?
Yeah.
What you're going to witness this year, especially if Beetlejuice goes pop and his two sons, you understand? The second sun or the second coming of the sun. You can see the sun beaming through the moon already. Okay. So this is what we're looking at. This unprecedented event horizon that we are all participating in, and it will change the landscape of everything forever. So stay down till you come up, okay? Because we are all going to get that coronation, right? But you got to stick around to get it. And if you go on the other side, do any and everything that needs to be necessary in quantum to assist those on this side who are doing the work to make sure that the paradigm is prepared, or the table is prepared for us to have, you know, an amazing meal, right? An amazing meal. And I wouldn't call it the Last Supper, but even that, that's the astrological pairing of the sun around those 12 tribes, or those 12 signs, or those 12 planetary bodies, right? So, it's just, it's a magnificent time to accept your assignment and step to it. You know what I'm saying? Step to it arrogantly. Like, that you got this, right? You have to convince yourself that you are too powerful for this corona virus, because you have tapped in to the corona rising. Okay?
I hear you, my brother. I feel the same way. Shout out to Nova Felder, my brothers in Ghana. They calling me from
He's in
Ghana.
Ghana?
Huh? Him
Okay.
and Nana Yao. Yeah, they're in Ghana.
They got out. Good.
Yeah, they chilling. They said the immigration is looking for them though.
Good. Let them build out. Let them get lost. They where they need to be.
That's right.
Right?
But look,
Yeah.
It's been beautiful, family.
Yeah. Just let me, we've been talking a lot about this Christ consciousness energy even tonight. Go to NETERFlix.com, NETERFLIX.com. I have a 44-minute movie debuting on Easter called Christ Consciousness. It's a visual album, 44-minute visual album. It's almost like a conscious street just watching, but it's dealing with the Christ consciousness aspect of this whole aspect of that black Christ, that black sun, right? We know what we're dealing with. We know what we're looking at. We know what we're moving into, right? Prepare yourselves. Take full advantage. This is your time, but you have to grasp the bull by the horns in Aries. You know what I'm talking about? Peace.
No doubt. Tap into Netflix, y'all. Sign up. You know what I mean? Go ahead and get your subscription on. Tap in. We might see you guys tomorrow with a KTL radio show. Look out for your notifications. If you're not signed up to the page, sign up, hit that bell so you'll get the notifications about tomorrow's show. If not, Melanin Mondays. Love and light to the ancestors. Like I said, put the candle on the altar, feed them, put some, you know, feed them what they need, and let's move on. All right. Peace.
Peace, God.